Hello guys and welcome back to a new video. How is everybody? I hope everybody is doing okay, everybody is well and safe. Today we will start a new series that I was thinking for a long time. There are so many sad true stories that it happen all over the globe, and some of these stories we end up knowing them because we see a movie that says based on true story, or we saw a docu-series. I've seen so many movies with true stories and I've been shocked at every movie, but I think the hardest story for me was Girl in the Basement. The Girl in the Basement is inspired by the true event of Elisabeth Fritzl, a young Austrian teenager girl who was held captive by Joseph Fritzl from 1984 until 2008. Elisabeth Fritzl was a normal teenager who dreamed of a successful career, a partner who would love her, and a lot of parties. She wanted to discover the world and travel to every corner on earth. The young woman was born in 1966 from Joseph Fritzl and Rosemary family. She had 3 brothers and 3 sisters. The story begins when Elisabeth was asked to help him repair the basement door at the age of 18. It should be noted that the reason she was imprisoned at the age of 18 was because Elisabeth had planned to leave at the age of 18, but her father had learned of this plan. His father had a very well thought out plan. When he found out that his daughter wanted to go in the world, he locked her in the cellar and had her write a farewell message. He told his wife that their daughter was gone to study and work in another place. For the next 24 years, the inside or the dirty walled cellar will be the only thing Elisabeth Fritzl will see. Her father will lie to her mother and the police, feeding them with a story about how she ran away and joined a cult. Eventually, the police investigation ran cold, and before long, the world will forget about the missing girl. Initially, her father tied her with an iron chain in such a way that she could barely move half of a meter on either side of the bed. Then he gave her more freedom of movement, tying the chain around her waist. Elisabeth has been abused at least 3,000 times. Fritzl family was not concerned. Joseph will go down to the basement every morning to draw plans for the machines that he planned to solve. Occasionally, he will spend the night, but his wife wouldn't be worried because her husband was a hardworking man and was dedicated to his career. As far as Elisabeth was concerned, Joseph was a monster. He will visit her in the basement 3 times a week. Usually, it was every day. For the first 2 years, he left her alone, keeping her captive. Then he began to rape her, continuing the nightly visits, and had begun when she was just 11 years old. 2 years into her captivity, Elisabeth became pregnant, though she miscarried 10 weeks into the pregnancy. 2 years later, however, she fell pregnant again, this time carrying to term. In August of 1988, a baby girl was born. 2 years later, another baby was born, and boy named Stefan. Joseph forced her to raise 3 children in the cellar, and he took the others home and educated them with his wife, Elisabeth's mother. The young woman was often asked to send letters to the woman who gave her life and who he did not suspect anything. Joseph didn't just bring the children up with him. However, in order to conceal what he was doing from Rosemary, he staged elaborate discoveries of the children, often involving placing them on bushes near the home or on the doorstep. Each time, the child will be swathed neatly and accompanied with a note allegedly written by Elisabeth, claiming that she couldn't take care of the baby and was leaving it with her parents for safekeeping. You're probably wondering why no one ever suspected that someone was locked up in the basement, even if everybody had access to it. The answer is because the basement had a secret. Hidden behind a closet was a second door in the basement that led to the cell where Elisabeth was kept. The only entrance to that room was through the basement, basically a basement in the basement. In 2008, one of the children in the cellar fell ill. Elisabeth begged her father to allow her 19-year-old daughter, Kirsten, to get medical attention. She'd fallen and got critically ill. Joseph agreed to take her to the hospital. He removed Kirsten from the cellar and called an ambulance, claiming that had a note from Kirsten's mother explaining her condition. Police questioned Kirsten and asked the public for any information on her family. Naturally, no one came forward as there was no family to speak of. The police eventually grew suspicious on Joseph and reopened the investigation into Elisabeth's disappearance. They began to read the letters that Elisabeth had supposedly been leaving for the Fritzls and began to see inconsistency in them. Joseph finally felt the pressure regarding his daughter's captivity. on April 26, 2008, he released Elisabeth from the cellar for the first time in 24 years. She immediately went to the hospital to see her daughter, where hospital staff alerted police to her suspicious arrival. Police arrested Joseph Fritzl that night. After the arrest, the children in the cellar were also released, and Rosemary, she had allergy knowing nothing about the events taking place right under her feet, and Joseph backed up story. The tenants who had lived in the apartment on the first floor on the Fritz home also never knew what was happening right beneath them, as Joseph had explained away all sounds by blaming faulty piping and noisy heater. Today, Elisabeth Fritzl lives under a new identity in a secret Austrian village. The home is under constant CCTV surveillance and police patrol every corner. The family doesn't allow interviews anywhere within their walls and decline to give away themselves. Though she is now in her mid-50s, the last photo taken of her was when she was 16 years old. Why did Joseph Fritzl choose Elisabeth? Fritzl claimed that his roots of his crime lay in his childhood under the Nazis and his twisted sexual desire for his own mother. Said he chose Elisabeth as a victim because she looked like his mother Marie, and because her rebellious teenager behavior offended his love of discipline. It was one of the most controversial stories in the world. All mankind was shocked by the possessive father who decided to lock his daughter in a cellar, abuse her, and leave her pregnant with 7 children. She spent half of her life in a dark room full of rats. Joseph Fritzl visited her every day and made her do a lot of horrible things.